And that was a 1-8 game.
Jeff, Bryan, Braden, Presley, Derek, and the...
It doesn't matter how you cut it. Those
Doesn't
are
matter the
Jeff, Bryan, Braden, Presley, Derek, in the booth. Talking football north to south. From high school fields to the Super Bowl. Spitting fire, ain't no doubt. Tailgate talk, where the legends speak. Breaking down the game.
Oh, hit niggers?
DeKoning. No, Country Club. I was playing with DeKoning and
All right.
Mitch and Crozier.
We are live.
I got you about 2
see.
yards.
Oh, I do remember that. All right, we are live.
Good Thursday evening again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Tailgate Talk Nebraska. Along with us, as always, you've got Brian Denton down on the end. He's manning our controls, and he will give us a little information. Probably not good information, but he'll give us some. Braden Long back with Braden Cook Long back with us here this evening as he has
There we are.
finally found his way to Jeff Green's house once again. Jeff Green, thank you for hosting us as always, my man. As we get ready to go, Jeff. In the
Well,
St.
I just want everyone to
Patrick's
know I've now dedicated a room to my house to this. And if you look behind us, we're getting our new decor put up. We got more coming, but we're getting pretty proud of where we're
We're
at.
getting there.
We're getting there.
Well, we are in full swing. NCAA conference tournaments are taking shape. Some teams that were on the bubble are falling off that bubble and they're getting burst, and some teams are moving back on. We're going to try to talk a little bit about that. But, gentlemen, it is almost time for March Madness. 3 days away from Selection Sunday,
Yes.
and we're going to find out the 68 teams going to vie for that national title this year. All the number one seeds are up. What's that?
Talk about the challenge.
Oh, yes.
Talk
Let's
about our
talk
challenge.
about the Tailgate Talk Nebraska March Madness bracket busting challenge we have going on. You can go on. I'll let Jeff talk about this.
You go onto our Facebook page, you hit event. Event and pop up. You pop in, it takes you to ESPN. You log in and you put your bracket into our set. The winners, if you gotta outdo us. I mean, if we're the top teams, you people get nothing. But other than that, if you can beat us, we're giving away 4 coasters and tumblers with the Tailgate Talk label on them. And we're going to give some haircuts away from Strop. He's one of our best sponsors. The Strop Barbershop. Davins offers a traditional men's barbershop with cuts, beard trims, and straight razor shaves. Tell them that you've heard it from us, and they'll give you a discount, I'm sure.
I'll read that off later more professionally.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Me.
Jeff is in St. Patrick's Day mode.
Woo!
He's got the green on and the luck of the Irish, even though he wasn't rooting for Notre Dame earlier this season. But,
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of Notre Dame.
gentlemen, conference tournaments are in full swing, and, Nebraska did not make it into the Big Ten tournament this year, and it really, really hurt their chances of making a run and getting to the Big Dance.
Hey, I'm really sad that you're bringing this up because I thought we were going to leave it alone. But now that you brought it up,
We have to talk about it.
So is he on the hot seat or not?
I don't think
Is this a
Hoiberg
step
is.
backward?
I don't think Hoiberg's on the hot seat.
When you beat 6 top 25 teams in a season,
You went 5-12 down the stretch.
I get that.
You
but
walked into Northwestern and lost.
No, we won Northwestern.
See,
Barely.
This is the part about super conferences I hate. Not everybody gets in their conference tournaments, and I don't think that's fair. I really don't. Maybe you guys disagree with me. I think
I do disagrry.
in a conference
No,
tournament,
I think a conference tournament you should be in. You're in a
everybody
conference.
should be in.
Everybody.
Everybody should have a shot. I don't care. And I'm not just talking Nebraska.
Let's look at Big Ten. We are 18 teams big.
I know.
You can't let everybody in. If
Well,
you're-
they keep adding people to the tournament, so why don't they add people to the bracket?
The point is, when you're in a conference, it's about being strong. And when you have a conference tournament, you're trying to better your position in the NCAA tournament. And
Correct.
if you don't have a reason to be there, there's no reason to play in the tournament.
What if they
All
go
right.
on a run?
What run is going to help
No,
you?
seriously.
You went, like, for example, let's talk Nebraska. They went 5-12 down the stretch. I don't care if they win 4 games in the Big Ten tournament. You don't deserve in.
No, if they would win the tournament, they're in.
Yeah.
No,
It's
let
an
me
automatic
ask you this.
bid.
That's a wasted.
Let me show you this scenario, Jeff. And okay,
You're forcing the good teams to put their best players out there and put them at
As
risk
you should.
against a team that has no chance. That's why you end up with scores like 78-57, St. John's and Butler. You got over here Oregon and Indiana today. Indiana scored 59 points on Oregon as Oregon scored at will. I mean, those games shouldn't be a thing.
So my thing is, though, if you want to be one of the better teams, you have to put them performances up too.
You
It
do
doesn't
have
matter.
to put those performances up.
And
Because
just
at the end
have
of the
them
day,
in
how
third half.
I said the first time though, we still beat 6 top 25 teams. That 4 or 5 of them are still top 25 teams.
Yeah.
They're still in
Here's
the.
my thing, though. All right, and I'm going to throw conference tournaments out. Let's go to the big dance, the NCAA tournament. If you are saying that the teams that are good should be in there, then why are these lesser conferences allowed a team in the NCAA tournament
know-
Yeah.
when you're deciding
Because
that factor?
Because back in the day, they had an equality clause, basically.
Right.
And they gave these smaller conferences opportunities. And, that's what makes the March Madness great.
Right.
It does.
Right.
I have a list of the biggest upsets of all time.
But you're vouching for the opposite.
inside the super conferences.
Right. But
I
you
still don't think
remember-
it matters.
You remember the days of the Big
'Cause-
Eight tournament down at Kansas City?
I
Kemper
do.
Arena? 8 teams. Eight teams is all you had.
Yep.
But that was
And
a tournament.
and the worst one won it twice.
Yeah.
The 8 seed had won that tournament twice in the Big Eight history.
Right. And they got to go on to the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely.
Because they won that. So why, even though now we're getting into super conferences of 18 teams, why shouldn't that be a chance for some
So
of
let's-
those teams?
Exactly. I
Let's
agree.
be real, Jeff.
I
So,
agree.
so at the bottom school in them power conferences is at least middle of the road, if not above, in one of them lesser conferences.
Yeah.
So let's just say one of them lesser conferences, the Sun Belt or whoever, has somebody come in that's a 6 seed and wins the conference tournament. They go to the
They go to the game.
Well,
They go to the
I
dance.
mean, for example, like if you put Nebraska, I mean, Omaha's making it this year. They won the summit.
Yep.
You're telling me Nebraska's not beating Omaha by 30? No, they're
No,
beating
I don't
Omaha by
know that.
30. I do know that.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
We
I'm
went
very
5
sure-
and 12 down the stretch.
Against who? Big Ten teams.
I don't
man.
think. I don't know.
Okay, 30's exaggerating a bit, but we
But
beat
now-
Omaha.
Do we?
Yes.
The SEC allows everybody into the tournament.
as
Correct?
they should.
As,
Right.
And we'll probably
I
get to,
can
but
tell
Texas.
you, I'm mad at Hoiberg. I'm mad at the Nebraska program.
Yeah.
And for you to say that they're going to beat Omaha, you don't know that.
I truly
You
believe that.
don't.
Well,
I don't know that, but I truly
Do you know how you don't know that? Because we lost to Louisiana Tech earlier in the season.
I'm
For sure?
Yeah, on
I'm
the
gonna
road.
be on Jeff's side on that. I can't say that Nebraska would just go in and beat Omaha on a neutral court. That in basketball and college right now, I'm not gonna say anything because is Duke a Final Four team now with Cooper Flag out for the year?
That was huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, Duke is not Duke without Cooper Flag.
Are they going to be the number 1 seed?
They were talking about it affecting their rank,
It depends.
Yeah.
I know.
If
which is crap. in my
Is
opinion.
it?
It is.
Because you were behind them, let Florida State out because they lost their quarterback. Just saying.
I'm just saying, if Duke,
You're all over that.
if Duke doesn't win the
Touche.
ACC tournament, they will not be a number 1 seed
No.
in March
No.
Madness.
I agree.
Yeah.
But if they win the tournament without him,
They should be a number 1 seed in the NCAA
will they
tournament.
do it?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Florida State. Florida
Yeah.
State, without their quarterback, still won the ACC. They still won all their games.
If Duke wins the ACC tournament in basketball, they will be a number 1 seed come March.
But that's
Madness.
different, Jeff, because you.
How's it different?
It is different because you have 4 teams last year versus
No,
66
bull
teams.
pucky.
68.
So
You
68
do-
we're playing.
If
Okay,
you do
so-
everything they put in front of you, it shouldn't matter. You you did everything you were supposed to do.
But
And then you did it without your best players. And you still did it. They should have had their chance.
They got their karma this year.
I will
No, they
say,
didn't. Everybody left them because they didn't get their chance.
Didn't they?
Yeah, they
I
all
will
left.
say that I think that
So we're talking March
selection
Madness.
in March Madness right now, Duke wins the ACC tournament without flag. They are a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely.
They're 1 of 4. They're
Yeah.
1 of 4 number 1 seeds in that. Florida right now,
Is a number 1 seed.
if they win the
They should
SEC
be
tournament,
1 seed.
but
Do they have to win it?
I would think they would
I don't
Why?
think they have to.
because
I don't think they have to either.
let's just say if Duke wins,
The SEC is so built. I mean, every team.
Okay, this is my thing. They can't lose in the first round
No.
and
Right.
still
They have
get
to make a run, but they don't
I
have to
still
win
do.
it.
okay, let me throw this scenario then. Duke wins theirs without flag. They're going to get a number 1.
Oh,
Right?
they're
Number one
obviously-
overall seed.
Let's say
Auburn's the
Auburn wins.
Auburn's getting number
They don't
one
have
seed.
to win.
They don't have to win. They have to win 1 or 2.
Let's say Houston wins the Big 12.
Houston's the number 1 seed.
Houston's
Are
going to get
they?
a number 1 seed.
Yes.
If they
Houston
win
will get a
the
number 1 seed if they win the Big 12. So now you've got 3 teams as number 1 seeds. Now who's going to be that 4th one? Will it be Florida? Will it be Alabama?
you got to give it to Florida.
I'm
For who
just-
they've beat.
Here
What about
we,
Bama?
here we go
No, but
again.
Florida, what did they win 2 straight games over top 10 opponents?
Yeah, but Bama didn't beat 2 top 10 teams over their course.
But let's say this. This all comes down again, like we talked in football, to a selection committee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It all comes down to that. It's not now. Duke loses, Houston loses. They don't win their title, their conference tournaments. Then you're going to see 3 SEC
Yeah.
teams with number 1 seeds.
When you come down to the selection tournament, you know, the selection decisions, like in the football, right?
Mhm.
The majority of them are older.
Yeah.
Selection committee. When you get to basketball now, you have a lot of younger, under 40 guys that have votes.
Now,
And that changes things.
I will say this: a week ago, I would not have put this team even on the bubble at that point in time. But they upset Texas A&M today.
Yeah, they did.
Overtime.
Texas is trying to make a run.
Yeah.
They're at 19 wins with that.
Yeah.
And it just knocked off a top 25 team. And, you know, if they win the next one, they're in. And they're going to be a 7 or 6 seed.
Right.
Here's the argument I'm going to go back to now, though. Texas, if they are in a Big Ten scenario,
Yeah.
don't make a tournament.
Right.
But Texas is now making a run
Whoa,
to.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Texas is in the SEC this
No,
year.
No, that's what he's
saying.
I'm saying if let's say the roles reverse, let's say SEC only takes so many teams, they
Oh, yeah, they didn't make it.
they don't make it. But now they're making a run and they're going to make the tournament probably.
Yeah.
You know,
But they won their last 2 games.
in the
Of the
SEC.
the regular season.
No,
It-
Oklahoma beat them.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's on the bubble to make it.
Oklahoma
beat
and them are-
Texas
Yeah.
late in the season, one of the last couple of games.
So
of
if
the
you
year.
flip the script and you give Nebraska a chance like Texas does, and they win 2 big games in the Big Ten, we're talking about Nebraska making it.
Nebraska don't deserve to go to the big.
I'm not saying they
Big
do
dance.
either, but I'm saying
Nebraska-
in the Big Dance, I'm just saying Nebraska deserved a chance in the Big Ten tournament.
if they
I
win
agree.
2-3 games, we're having a completely different talk right now. You're telling me if you're telling me Nebraska wins 2 games in the Big Ten against big opponents because they're lower seeds, so they got to play
That
higher
would
seeds.
definitely help
You're
them.
looking at me and telling me that we don't deserve to make it, especially after beating 6 top 25 ranked opponents throughout the season.
They would be in.
They'd
at
be
that
in.
point.
I'm
And
just saying.
should we have lost those games down the stretch? No, that was our fault. But if
Our
we're-
fault.
Yes,
It was
is our fault.
horrible.
But and I'm not trying to defend, but I'm also
So,
saying that
They lost
we
to Oklahoma. They lost to Georgia, Arkansas, South Carolina. They went 4
Yeah,
and
but
1.
they came out.
No, this was the tournament. This
Yes.
is the SEC tournament where they beat Vandy and A&M.
yes.
Look at what they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 and 8 in their last 10 games.
Yeah.
That's why
Almost
I'm
the
saying
same as Nebraska.
conference tournaments
You're
Makes a
right.
difference.
Yeah.
should allow everybody in.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody should have a shot at it.
So what's the point in being in the conference if you don't get in a conference tournament?
Right.
Exactly.
Seriously,
You're right.
You're contributing to the revenue, everything.
And how many teams are in the SEC right now?
16.
Hey, we just figured that out. 16.
Okay, so there's 2 more teams in the Big Ten
Yeah.
compared to the SEC, and SEC lets everybody in.
Yep.
That's what
If
I'm
we're
saying.
talking last year,
You know, I wasn't ready for this conversation.
I know you weren't.
even if we're talking last year, and last year the Big Ten didn't take everybody. We added 4 teams this year in the Big 10. We're talking 14 teams.
You guys are making sense. You guys are making sense. And
I'm
I
not
hate
trying
say
to-
it because
The fact that you
they said I
can be
fake this.
the fact that you can
I
be
did.
in a conference and not make the conference
always-
tournament
I
is a
think
sad deal.
It is a sad deal.
It's
Now,
sad.
Because
I'm
did
not
we
pro-
lose to Iowa
I mean,
twice?
that's the
Yes,
point
but
of
we're still
being part
better.
of the
I
conference.
still think we're better than them.
And see, this is
That's
the
what I'm saying.
part.
Yeah.
This is the part I hate. I'm looking at, and I just brought this up, the Big 8 tournament a few years ago. Big 8, not Big 12. Big 8 back in the day was one of the greatest conference tournaments.
On our page.
Now, I looked at the teams that are locked in out of the Big 12 this year. All right? You've got Kansas and Iowa State, both original members of the Big 8. They're locks to go to the tournament. Not seed-wise or anything, but just locks to get in. You've got Texas Tech and Houston, Southwest Conference teams. You've got BYU locked in to go out of there. They are a Mountain West
Well,
team.
BYU won a big one today. They
No,
beat
I'm-
Iowa State.
I'm saying these are teams that are locked to go to the tournament out of the Big 12. And I'm just saying, you've got 2 Big 8 teams. You've got 2 Southwest Conference teams. You've got a Mountain West Conference team. And you bring Arizona in a Pac-10 team. You've got 4 conferences.
Big 12 is a melting pot.
I know. And,
They're making a run.
that's the part I am just not enjoying about college sports right now is all of these little conferences coming together.
But on the other hand, fast forward 5 years from now, the Big 12 is going to be much more powerful because of taking in the better teams
Oh,
from
I
these smaller
understand that. But
conferences.
what I'm saying is,
Because if they are expecting to hang with the Big 10
Here's-
and SEC and make a claim to stay in the
Yeah.
game,
yeah,
they
So-
got to do this.
So the prime example of that is which one of the conferences will make the run to be the power conference? So will it be the ACC or the Big 12?
Big 12 right now.
The Big 12
I
right now.
agree with you.
Yeah.
But
right now, Big 12.
I think the Big 12.
But them are
will
the 2
bring-
conferences that are going to be fighting.
That's right. They're looking for the 3rd spot.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but the Big 12 missed on some spots. I mean, they should have really got Oregon. Oregon should have went to the Big 12. They had a much better fit.
Well, they won the Big 10, so.
They kind of did, you know.
No, they did. Win the
Ohio
Big 10
State,
the first
Ohio
year.
State won the national championship.
but this is the point I'm trying to say. Nostalgia. You go back, the Big 8 tournament. Do you remember that down at Kemper Arena, Kansas City? It was just such an atmosphere.
It was.
So,
It was an atmosphere. It's something to look forward to, and like it's kind of like going to Notre Dame to watch a football game. The history that is in that building. Going to Madison Square Garden to watch the Knicks. You know, I mean, these are the Green Monster in baseball. I mean, these are iconic buildings.
Right. But that's the whole thing. It's just I love the conference tournaments now, but they're not the nostalgic conference tournaments
Correct.
that we remember back. in
And
the
we're
day.
not going to get there.
No.
We're not going to get there. You know, the nostalgia is gone because we are moving into a new age where everything, I'm not going to say, I mean, we know that money is pushing it, but
That's the deciding factor for
but
everybody.
the conferences are trying to find a resemblance of tradition
I
in
don't
college
think so.
football,
I don't
college
think so.
basketball.
I really don't think so. And the reason I say that is because as me and Braden are, we're younger people in this. And I remember Nebraska in the Big 12.
I still remember
In
Nebraska, but-
them rivalry games. Your Colorados, your Kansas States, your Kansas, Iowa State. Like, that's what I...
And those are
grew
still
up
big
watching.
games when they happen. I mean, like Colorado
They
last
happen
2
as
years
often,
with
though.
Nebraska.
But what I'm saying, though, is like it used to be Nebraska could just travel by bus
Yeah.
to most places.
Yeah,
That's
those,
what
those days
yeah.
are over.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is what Derek was saying with
But
the
also
nostalgia.
even in those
That's where
stands,
the nostalgia
The
was.
nostalgia. That's
For
what
Nebraska, for
no,
Nebraska
what was the
playing
nostalgia is when you got your players, they were all within 600 miles except for 5 to 12 of them.
Yeah, I get that.
You had some
I
key
get-
players that you brought in from other parts of the country, but the majority of them, we played high school football with them.
Yes.
You knew them.
Yeah.
Because they all stayed in Nebraska. If you were raised in Nebraska, Iowa, or Kansas,
I get that.
You played for one of the schools.
you played for one of the schools.
I get that point of it, but I also agree with
And
Brian
now we
saying
don't.
that. I agree with Brian though. What he's trying to say is the nostalgia is driving by bus. Driving me and Brian hop in the car. We go watch an Iowa State Nebraska game.
Exactly.
It's like a Midwest conference, Eastern conference, a Western conference. You play teams that are surrounding you.
Yeah.
That means more than playing a team that's across country.
It's bragging
like,
rights.
Yeah,
It
like
is
Oregon,
bragging
like
rights.
Oregon, Nebraska playing. Is that cool? Yeah.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's not
it's
the
not
same. But it's
really.
not the same as Nebraska
You know-
playing Iowa State, Iowa, Kansas
Absolutely.
State.
As much
The
as
Iowa
Colorado.
Nebraska game, despite it doesn't have as much national worth,
Yeah, it means
is
more.
way bigger
Yeah.
than
Well, even
us
like
going into Oregon and beating them.
even like a Oregon, Washington, or a
I mean, if we
UCLA,
go to
USC,
Oregon and beat you guys, that's great.
it doesn't
but-
mean as much. as
But if we
beating.
turn around and lose to Iowa, it
That
don't
hurts
fucking
more.
matter.
It hurts.
Because it's not the 50 years of history.
Yeah.
Right.
No, what I'm saying is one of the
Yeah.
biggest shames in college football, as we go into that, is Nebraska and Oklahoma don't play anymore every year.
Yeah,
But
That's a
but
huge
you have that same
And
thing
that's-
in basketball. You know, I mean, the ACC is broke up now. I mean, it's not the same ACC that we grew up
Well,
with.
look at the Big East as the
The
power
Big East
conference.
used to be yeah.
Is
You
the-
know,
what used to be the
Be a
power
better
conference in
conference
basketball.
basketball.
Now
Yeah.
they got Creighton. They got.
yeah. You know, but
But Creighton's worked their way up to that point. They should be in a power
Yes.
conference.
They
in
should.
basketball.
Yes, I agree. I agree with Brian so much though. Of no matter what sport you're playing, conferences should take a nostalgia look and say
And be local.
and be local. It means
should
way
be
if we
geographical.
Yes,
I
it should
mean,
be
so-
geographical.
so-
you have the you have
but even if you're in the
boom,
Big
boom,
Ten
boom.
with the expansion things, you know, the local groups should play each other.
yes.
You know, everybody that we took in, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC, they should play each other every year.
But look at this, like, now with these power conferences, you have Oregon has to go to Rutgers,
Yeah.
which
talking
is
two different
completely
time zones.
across the
Oh,
country.
3 different time zones. 2 or 3.
It's three. And then you got California last year traveled like what 5,000 miles. for
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, Stanford and California are both flying over to the ACC.
yeah.
Pitt and Louisville and all of those teams, you know, or
Yeah.
Well, they were
Yeah.
talking like when SEC USC when USC and UCLA joined the Big Ten, they actually had talks that they would travel together
Yeah. Yeah.
because of the travel.
Yes.
It's just
I miss, like you said, I miss the nostalgic point of like if Nebraska could play Oklahoma, Missouri's the biggest one in Nebraska. Missouri, Oklahoma, K-State, KU, Iowa, Iowa State. If conferences would go back to geographical standpoint, it would make. Now, do I care about like on a national standpoint? Yes, but Oregon, Washington playing, USC, UCLA playing. No, I really don't care about that point. But if you're in that geographical area,
You do.
Like no one gives a shit about Nebraska and K-State playing. But around here, it means the world to everybody. If we could play the Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State, Iowa, it means so much more.
a prime example is the Colorado Nebraska rivalry.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like it was such a big deal this year, and it shouldn't have been.
Yes, exactly. Everyone around Nebraska was, yeah. And then Travis Hunter even came out saying, "What's the hardest place you've ever played?" Nebraska. Did it mean anything to him at the end of his NFL career? No, but he'll remember that. He'll,
NCAA.
It's
no, even I'm saying down
Even-
the road,
even
when he's done with the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, will he remember all the NFL? Yes, but
yeah,
when he
he'll
goes back,
remember the day he
he'll-
got destroyed here in Nebraska.
exactly. That means more.
He'll remember that.
Yes, because it means more when you're playing a rivalry game with guys around you. in these conferences, it's BS that they're going like. I'm not saying anything bad against Oregon, but like Oregon, Nebraska. Yes, it's a good game, but it doesn't mean as much than guys playing around you and how they started the conference.
As an Oregon fan that lives in the Midwest, I love it because I can actually go see them now.
That I agree.
But it's not the same thing.
No.
Like I watch them games, and it's not the same.
Hold on, because let's talk Nebraska, Washington. That's a different setup.
Yeah, because they have history.
We have history.
Yes.
In the '90s, we played each other, and the winner of that game 3 years in a row won the national championship.
I still get
Even
that.
though we played in the first 4 weeks.
I get that, but you're still telling me that Iowa State, Kansas, that game wouldn't mean more to you than going play Washington? No, it means more if they're.
Yeah, Washington meant a lot back in the day, didn't it?
I'm not saying it
That was
does,
huge.
but I'm saying
Jeff.
that the geographical standpoint of a conference needs to make its way back eventually because it's going to mean 10 times more than where we're at now.
Jeff, as a Nebraska fan, you should enjoy this, but you can honestly tell me you would rather play Iowa every year rather than Colorado or Kansas State or whoever.
No, I can't say that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's
I
what
can't say that.
that's
Nebraska,
I've always had.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
That's
Nebraska,
the one I
Oklahoma.
miss.
Yeah.
God damn it. I give a shit about the Kansas State, the Kansas, the Iowa State, but the Oklahoma game, that should have stayed. That should have stayed.
And it could've
that,
if
and
this-
that
the
Oklahoma-Nebraska
conference stayed
rivalry
geographical.
should have came up when the Big 12 was falling apart.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
it didn't. Oklahoma picked Texas.
The Red River.
The Red River battle. That was more important to them. And it shouldn't have been, but it was.
Well, conference tournaments in full swing.
Oh.
We are going to cover more of that next week as we dig into March Madness. Next Thursday on our show, it will be the opening day of March Madness. Remember, go onto the Facebook page, hit the events, join in, see if you can beat Braden. Probably easy because
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Look at who his stepdad is.
And then we got Brian over there, new school.
Yeah.
He's going to pick all the finesse games.
So,
I can't wait till me
I'm
and
just
Brian.
saying, you all should know.
I
I'm
can't
the
wait
guy
till
to
me and
beat.
Brian kick
You
your
don't-
ass.
I'm the
Me
guy
and
to
Brian
beat.
are going to whoop you two's ass.
Now,
maybe we'll have a side bet of you two.
Deal.
Okay.
Me and Brian are with it.
old school versus young
Deal.
blood.
Deal.
What's the bet?
What's the bet? Naked mile.
All right.
What?
I'm that confident, me and
No one
Brian.
wants to see that. No one wants to see that.
Anyway,
I mean, my wife would be rooting us on, actually.
I think she'd be rooting me on.
No, she'd want to see you.
No, yeah,
She
probably.
sees me naked every night.
Braden will probably get arrested for a manhandling a boy's. Anyway,
We'll come up with something. We'll let you know next Thursday what the
The side
prize
bet
will
is.
be. What the side bet
We'll make
is.
a side bet.
But I want to also put out there, in my opinion, March Madness is the greatest tournament in the world of
it
all
is.
time.
It is.
I mean, you get 68 teams from every walk of life, and it's one and done. You either get it done or you go home. I mean, there is no more.
and the upsets are the big thing.
Oh,
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
It's
it is.
Absolutely.
awesome. That's what it's there for.
Yep.
let's talk about the upsets.
Yep.
You know, the biggest upsets of all time. Fairlight Dickerson, number 16 seed versus number 1 Purdue, 63-58. That happened last year.
First time ever.
First time ever.
No,
16.
it wasn't.
No, second time. Second
no,
time.
second time.
Second time.
Second time.
UMBC beat Virginia back in 2018.
And what happened the very next year? Virginia won. the
Oh
national
yeah,
title.
that's right. Virginia won the national title in 2019.
Yep.
And then you got Princeton, Arizona, up 15 versus 2. That also happened last year. When that was upset year in 23. And then you got St. Peter's. Remember them? The little guys.
The white boy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
I
so
mean,
fun
the
to
guy
watch.
could make fun of the locker room.
Yeah.
Wasn't very fast. Wasn't very athletic. He was just mean.
He was a baller.
Yeah, he was a baller. They won 85-79 over Kentucky. Number 2 seed Kentucky. They made it to the Elite 8. Kentucky wasn't the only team they knocked off. And then Oral Roberts over Ohio State back in
Yep.
You know, they made and Oral Roberts. They made it to the Sweet 16. These teams didn't just win one game; they marched on.
Was that when Ohio State had Odin?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Greg Oden. Remember, he was crying when he walked off the field or off the court, and they were trying not to pan on him, but every time they did an interview, there was Oden in the background.
The one you don't have on here that's like one of the best runs is Loyola Chicago, and that's what made Loyola Chicago so big. That was awesome to watch. They made it all the way to the.
You know why I didn't put that one on there?
Did they make Final Four? Yeah, they made
Final Four.
Yeah,
but
that was awesome.
No,
they
they had.
They made Final Four the next year.
Elite Eight.
They made
Loyola
Elite Eight.
Chicago made it to the Elite Eight.
But then they turned around the next year and made a run again.
They didn't go to the Final Four ever, though.
Okay, but they made another run.
Their 1 year they did.
Look it up. But
We'll have to look at it.
It's either Elite Eight or Final Four.
I know that Loyola made 2 runs in a row.
Yeah.
They made the upset run, and then they were a higher seed and still made a run.
Even small comment though on the small conferences, those 2 runs made Loyola Chicago a pretty big basketball school because you almost see them every year in the March Madness.
Yeah, they're there now
because they're there almost every year now. So the
Final Four. They made the Final Four in 2018.
That's what I thought.
Really?
Yep, I thought they did.
Who'd they lose to?
I don't. I just looked how
See,
far
I
they.
thought they only made it to the Elite Eight.
I think they made it to the second year.
Yeah,
Okay.
They made Final Four the Elite Eight.
the year they made
I'm
they
pretty
won.
sure.
How about the run the year Steph Curry led Davidson?
Oh, they lost
the
to
Elite?
Michigan
Okay.
in the Final Four.
They lost Davidson.
Yeah.
Which is where he went to college, and he took them on a run. But Jeff didn't have the upset. Number 2, Syracuse, led by Jim Boeheim, Hall of Fame coach, getting upset by the Richmond Spiders back in the 80s.
I remember
Yeah.
that.
That was huge.
I thought you were going to have that one on there. And let's talk about the champion, the Villanova Wildcats, led by Rolly Massimino when he led them to the national title back in the 80s. And they came in as one of the biggest underdogs ever in the national title game. Do you remember who they beat, Jeff?
I do not.
Georgetown, Patrick Ewing. And they upset Georgetown. It was Big East, Big East.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah, and
I do too. I was there actually.
John Thompson coaching Georgetown.
I remember that. I remember that because
Me and
as
Brian
a Knicks
both were there.
fan, we took Patrick Ewing, number 4 pick overall.
Number 1.
Number 4. It was first round, but we had the 4th pick.
All right.
Let Brian fact check you.
Fact check.
Fact check.
Fact check.
Patrick Ewing.
I can't be
What
wrong
number was
twice
he?
in one guy. No one.
Well,
We
maybe.
got to get him off NFL, and we got
before.
We got Derek. Oh,
Well, you got all of us though. The NFL's our game.
first overall pick.
First overall.
Oh,
All right.
I like the fact check side. Me and Brian will just fact check everybody.
You know why I remember
guys go
that? That was the very first year the NBA held the lottery draft.
Was that?
Yeah, that was.
And
I still
if
hate
you
it.
ever go back and watch the
Love
video,
lottery.
if you ever go back and watch the video of when the Knicks got drawn out with the number 1 pick, there was a little mark on that envelope.
Was there?
Yep.
What was the mark for? I don't remember any of this.
So the Knicks could get the number 1 pick because they wanted Ewing to go there to be in the Mecca and be with
The
that.
face of New York.
And make him some money.
Well, you know, he went there, and yes, he was our best player, but John Starks was the.
And how many
Was
NBA
the
titles
face.
did Ewing bring to?
Oh no! It was during the Michael Jordan era. God damn! I mean, you threw him into the first row. You make him bloody.
Who's
You
your
gave him
NBA team? Do you have an
stitches,
NBA team?
and he still comes out there and hangs 40 on you.
Denver, Miami. That's what.
Well, anyway, there have been a lot of great upsets, and in fact, another upset run, if you want to call it that, back in the day was Danny and the Miracles leading the Jayhawks to the national title
Candy Manny.
over Stacey King and the Oklahoma Sooners, who were one of the high-powered offense with Mookie Blaylock, Stacey King, and they had defeated KU earlier that year, and then KU came back and beat them in the national title game that year in a game that nobody gave Kansas a shot at.
And then Kansas was on the other side against Bucknell. later
that
on.
was in the first round.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was
Yeah.
a first round loss. They
Yeah.
shouldn't have lost.
Well,
That's what I'm saying. They were on the upset
Shouldn't
side.
lost.
They were on the
Kansas-
upset side that should.
Kansas also lost to Northern Iowa in the first
No, I'm
round.
just saying
One
that's the
year.
one
You're
I
saying that.
remember.
Huh?
They deserved that year.
Yeah, and they had a good team with Wayne.
They had a
Simon.
good team, but they came in. They played bad.
In the early '90s, they got beat by UTEP in the second round one year, and I mean, you
But
can go through
In my
every-
lifetime, I remember that one.
Yeah, but I mean, you can go through a lot of those.
No,
teams.
yeah.
Duke, Kentucky,
Yeah,
all of them
all of
getting upset. But we're gonna move on now to a little bit. We're gonna jump into a little NFL offseason moves. But before that, I gotta say congratulations to my boys from the University of Nebraska wrestling team. Last weekend, they went over to Evanston Illinois, basically Chicago, home of Northwestern University. Big Ten wrestling tournament, and they come home with a second place team finish, guys, and that was awesome. I don't know if you guys follow wrestling much, but as I've been doing the PA for them, I've learned a lot about the sport. I've learned a lot about these guys. Great kids. Brock Hardy, our 141. Ridge Lovett, our 149 Big Ten champions. And Brock did it with a pinfall in the championship match. I just got to give a shout out to those guys. In fact, you may get to meet those guys here in a few weeks. Nationals come up here in a couple weeks. That's going to be held out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Brock's going in as the number 1 overall seed. Ridge is going in as the number 2 overall seed. 9 wrestlers out of 10 weight classes are going on to represent Nebraska at the Nationals. The
How do
only
we
team-
say that? Go Big Red! Go Big Red!
So anyway, good luck to those guys. Now let's jump to the NFL, and oh my God, people are jumping all over the place there as well.
Whoa.
Can I try and do it from memory like Derek does, like all these other
Sure.
ones? I've followed pretty hard. So I'm like, I could be like Derek, like with all the old games this season, because I think I got it. All right. I
What are we
seriously do.
talking about here?
He's trying to
I
don't
do
know
all
what
the
to
Super
say.
Bowls and all the thing. I think I almost have all the big ones from memory now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All the big ones.
Like big signings.
Oh,
This
okay.
big signing.
Big
Yeah,
signing.
like how
I
you-
thought you meant all the big Super Bowls. They've
No,
all been big.
it'll
No,
take me years to
the
catch up
biggest
to you.
the biggest trade in my opinion was Debo to Washington.
Debo Washington.
Because I think that cooks the Niners' chances.
Oh,
I think the Niners.
Oh,
do.
the
it
Niners
hurts
are
the
on a fire
Niners.
sale.
No, what
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah, they're in
no.
a fire sale.
No, what I'm saying
They
that
are.
is that move showed they're done. They're ready to move forward. But in my opinion, they kept the wrong guy. In my opinion,
They kept Ayuk instead of Debo?
yeah.
I
would
would
take-
half the money.
Yeah. Debo.
salary cap
Yeah.
comes into
All right.
huge play this time.
So let's see if Brady's
Yeah,
memory-
salary cap's the
Ooh.
key. Salary cap's the key. All
If
right.
I can remember. All right. How many do you have on that list?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
I got 9 big
Okay.
ones.
Well, Debo to Washington. We already said that. That's gonna be
Yeah.
1. We're gonna go Darius Slay to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Didn't have that one.
I
on.
did not have that on my list.
Okay.
That's
well,
a huge
Well,
deal.
that's a huge deal.
See, I
For
don't
you,
think
Johnson.
it is.
yeah.
C.J. Gardner
Yeah.
Johnson's gone.
Who's the quarterback
Hurts.
at Pittsburgh?
Oh, I don't know. Not
Well,
we don't know
so we're gonna go Justin Fields to the Jets.
I'm
That's
just
gotta be
saying, until we get a Pittsburgh quarterback,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what wide receivers
Yeah.
they get.
Well, speaking of
That's
that,
a-
DK to
that's
the
a-
Pittsburgh Steelers.
yet. Yeah, that was.
Quit giving him hints.
No. Bosa. Bosa leaves to the Bills. We got Debo, Darius Slay, DK. We got Justin Fields to the Jets. We got
C.J. Gardner Johnson.
We already said that one, and then we're gonna go.
Sweat.
I don't think Jeff's got that
Dude,
one. On
you're
there.
missing one of the biggest ones, in my opinion. They released a guy that plays that position and bring this guy in, and he was one of the most dominant at that position for a long time.
Von Miller.
No.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup getting released, and who did they bring in?
Devontae
Dion.
Adams.
Yeah.
Or Devontae Adams, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Devontae Adams over there. Geno
With Puka Nacua.
Puka Nacua.
I think honestly Cooper's done. I think he was a one-hit wonder. I
Geno
think he's
Smith to
done.
the Raiders.
Okay,
I was on
is
my
that-
list.
Is that a big one? How about Sam
Yeah.
Darnold?
Sam Darnold to the Seahawks.
Which opens it up for J.J. McCarthy to come rolling in there.
No, they're talking. They're talking.
But the
Aaron
biggest
Rodgers.
one that
Okay.
after Shefty, we're talking Shefty is like Aaron Rodgers watch.
What
Where
the
is Aaron
hell?
Rodgers going to watch?
Yeah, where is Aaron Rodgers going? And the fucking
That's the
Giants,
biggest
what
one.
are they doing?
They're going to get Russell Wilson.
Are they? Because Russell Wilson went to where today?
Cleveland today.
Cleveland today.
But Cleveland signed Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
Okay, but
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Kenny
they
Pickett went to
signed
the
him
Browns.
today.
I missed that.
exactly, but
But they can pay.
is Kenny Pickett a starting quarterback in the NFL, guys?
No.
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 He's not. He's not even a back.
But they have to keep up. They have to keep up salary cap after they paid. Why can't I think of his
Deshaun
name?
Watson.
No, well him too.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett to a freaking crazy contract.
Ooh, that was a crazy contract.
Like
Brian,
what?
You were talking about the
Where the
Niners
fuck is-
cashing it in, right?
Yeah.
How does D-Hop...
I think I
How
said
does
all of
Kansas
them.
City let D-Hop go?
He didn't really do
I think I
a
said
lot.
He didn't really do a lot.
He
He's
did a lot
he's
in the
pretty
locker
much
room.
done.
In the locker room, yes. But
D Hop's done, dude.
I said all of them, but your stupid Daniel Jones of the Colts. Who cares?
Because someone was stupid enough to sign Daniel Jones. I mean, what the fuck are the Colts thinking?
Brian,
Oh my God!
here's where I'm going to tell you I knew the Niners were mailing it in right now.
Yeah.
They didn't go after Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
big would that have been for Joey and Nick to play together for the Niners? And
No
then when I
kidding.
saw Joey signing with the Bills,
But that happened like day back to back. It was pretty close.
of him getting released,
No, it was that scenario. What you're
Oh, yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
that
yeah.
happened like boom, boom.
yeah.
So like to me, like the Niners were one of them teams that could, if they had one maybe piece, make a run. But then they just fire saled everybody.
Yep.
So they're done.
They're in rebuild mode now.
They're in rebuild mode at this point. But to
And
me,
then the Commanders are freaking stacking up.
yeah, the Commanders are stacking up.
The huge lineman from Texas, or the Texans, and then picking up Debo.
What's
get some
interesting
veteran.
to me is this, and this happens every year. The Super Bowl champion will let people go that want more money, but the problem that I'm having is it's the money that got you the Super Bowl that you're letting go. So you're letting go Gardner Johnson, you're letting go Darius Slay,
They're
Sweat.
letting their defense go.
That's what I'm saying. That's
huge
what
reason.
won them the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Wasn't
like,
the offense.
but they go pay Saquon. He's the best. He's the highest paid running back ever now. And then they go sign from Green Bay, the backup running back. Can't think of his name.
We're talking about the
AJ
Seahawks.
Dillon.
AJ Dillon. They signed AJ Dillon today.
Right.
So what are they doing? Like,
Well,
you're stacked on offense. You don't need more offense.
Defense wins championship.
You need defense.
Defense wins championship.
here's the
Every
Raheem
time.
Mostert.
Doesn't
He's
matter
going to the
the game.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
You've got,
the game.
you've got Raheem Mostert, and how good is Kansas City going to be next year? They got Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, exactly.
Minshew, he's going to give Mahomes a run.
Yeah.
Give him Mahomes a run. Jesus Christ.
Well, I saw this on Jeff's list in NBC, but Josh Allen got freaking paid.
Well, they're.
But does he deserve it? Yes.
Hey, Jeff,
he's their
you'll-
whole offense.
Jeff, you'll love this one. They're talking about Carson Wentz going back to Philly.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Because the Chiefs
you're
got
the
rid of
only
him.
person that
They
ever
got rid of
fucking he did well
That's why I
at.
picked up Gardner.
Yep. But
After he left Philly, what did he do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
here's the thing about it. I think Cooper Kupp. I think the Bills made a mistake signing Bosa, and I'm not saying that because Bosa's not good. Bosa's good,
He's hurt all the time.
but
They need
But
someone
wait
for
a
Josh.
minute.
the Bills.
Did you see
should
that
have-
contract? That's
It's
not a superstar contract.
It's a 1-year deal.
It's a 1-year deal.
And,
It's a
and
1
it,
year.
and it's not, it doesn't hurt him.
I
Bo-
think
Bosa's the guy chasing a ring right now.
instead of
Right.
instead
And
of
they got him at a bargain.
instead of going after Bosa, they should have went after Cooper Kupp.
Did they go after Bosa? It sounds like Bosa went after them. Said, hey man, I don't care what you pay me. I just want
Right.
to play here.
But I'm just saying, the Bills need help on offense
Yes.
for Josh Allen. The defense, it
That does
a little
need
help,
help, too.
but they need more help in the defensive backfield than they need.
For Josh Allen, there's two
So now-
targets on offense. There's, well, not even really target, but
Now,
James Cook.
If Bosa
he's a- if you
can pull 12 sacks, 14 sacks, that will change the way the Bills' defense
He
looks.
won't though.
You still have to look at an offense, like he's saying though, offense perspective. Josh Allen has 2 targets. James Cook, which is not really a target, is a handoff guy.
Right.
And Keon Coleman, which is still a rookie. Who else is he throwing the
they
ball
have
to?
Kincaid.
You got Kincaid,
But he's hurt all the time.
but you know what?
Wasn't Mark Cooper still there?
No.
No.
Or they brought in Amari Cooper at the end
I
of
was
the
gonna
season.
say, Amari
But he was
Cooper's
only
still there?
but his contract's up, I think. So it's
all,
not guaranteed.
all I'm
he's there.
saying is,
Maybe
did
not.
it matter who his wide receivers were?
No, because they ran the ball.
No, he still was 4th
Right.
Yeah.
on total passing yards.
But what takes the Bills to the Super Bowl? A better defense?
Yes, absolutely. They've tried to outscore their opponents the last 5 years, and it hasn't worked out. I mean, Jesus Christ, they had that shootout with Kansas City.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, that was one of the greatest games I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Bills are probably going to be what they were in the
In
90s.
the 90s?
Knocking at the door the whole time,
Let
but
me
they
ask
can't
you
get over it.
this. You bring in Geno Smith. You bring in Raheem Mostert. Are the Raiders going to be
No,
reasonable next year?
no.
They have to put up
They have the number 1 pick, right? The Raiders, or they have the
No.
No,
sorry,
they
not
have
the number 1. I mean the 5th or 6th,
Yeah.
They're like 5th.
4th or 5th.
First pick's Titans.
Titans, yeah. Titans, Browns.
And
Chargers.
they're going to take Cam Ward.
Yep.
More
And
than likely.
the Patriots are number 2,
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. And then,
Oh.
God damn, the Giants are number 3.
And they take- and they take-
and they haven't signed anybody yet, which means they're probably going to take Shedeur Sanders when they should be taking
Please
that
clip
big
that so we
offensive
have that on
offensive
video.
tackle. Where's he from?
Please clip that.
Oh, the kid from
Auger? Is that his name? Or?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, yeah.
Notre
The Notre Dame offensive guard. That's who they should be taking.
If they sign Russell Wilson, but
I don't give a shit who they take.
But if they don't sign Russell Wilson, who's playing quarterback?
Who cares? We'll figure it
Tommy
out.
What they
Vito?
should do is they should sign Russell or somebody and put Shedeur behind him.
Well, that's the plan, I hope.
But also, did you hear that Shedeur did not interview well at all?
I don't care. I don't want him.
No, what I'm saying
the
is,
cards are saying that you were gonna take him, no matter what.
No, we're not.
you know what's gonna
No,
happen?
we're
You
not.
know what's gonna happen, Jeff? Is they're gonna take
We're
him,
signing Russell Wilson tomorrow.
and then they're gonna.
But they're gonna take Shedeur and then they're gonna let
No,
him
we're
train after.
not. No, we're not.
What's
They're-
gonna happen
They're
is-
gonna take Russell Wilson tomorrow. They're gonna build that offensive line with that big guard from Notre Dame, and next year we'll see what happens. with
Brian
quarterback.
Daboll will be out of a job,
Russ is on his way out.
Probably.
and then you'll
He should have
have
been fired this year.
you'll have Sanders as your coach.
But you know, Daboll's not the problem. That GM is.
Yeah.
That's the fucking problem.
The GM's kid is a better GM than he is after watching
Oh
Hard
my
Knocks.
God!
Yeah.
Exactly.
But here's the other point I want to bring up. So we talk about Russell going somewhere. If it sounds like Russell's not even considering going back to Pittsburgh. Who is Pittsburgh going to pick up?
Eli Mitchell to Kansas City. One of our viewers wants to know how big that is.
Who?
Eli Mitchell to
Eli
Kansas City.
Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell.
Oh.
That's
Didn't you see who they got back? They got Mason
Ben.
Rudolph. The Steelers did. They're bringing Mason Rudolph back in as their backup.
Why are we
saw the
talking
video of
about
Ben
the
Roethlisberger.
Steelers?
because I said
ask the
if Russell is not considering going back to Pittsburgh,
He's not.
who are they going to have as quarterback next year? Because they signed DK, they have George Pickens. You have to have someone throw the ball to those guys.
Mason
They're gonna
Rudolph.
get Aaron
Pittsburgh, we don't
Rodgers.
care.
Huh?
Are they going to get Aaron Rodgers? Or do they?
Well,
they don't
I
have a high
really
enough draft
hope
pick to draft him.
Aaron Rodgers
Maybe.
does not go to Minnesota because he will take the exact path Brett Favre took.
Yep.
Exactly.
I've seen that's why he's going to go there.
It's like, come on. now.
However,
I've seen that's why he's going to go there.
I know he was not a good quarterback last year. I understand that.
Who?
But there was a lot of
Aaron
offensive
Rodgers.
line problems in
It wasn't Aaron Rodgers wasn't
No.
a good quarterback. He got hurt right away. He came back to a shitty situation.
No, what I'm saying is Minnesota is like the top landing spot right now.
and they should be.
But honestly, Minnesota might be somebody to reckon with next year if that
If they get Aaron Rodgers,
because their defense is legit.
absolutely,
And
and their
that-
offensive line is good.
And they also have the best receiver in football.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Cooper Kupp, where do you see him going?
Nowhere. He's overrated.
What?
That's a bold
He's
statement.
overrated. He only had 1
Oh
year.
my God, he's gonna end up in Miami and die.
No, he had 1 year.
It
He
doesn't
won the
matter.
Triple Crown 1 year, and he hasn't been healthy since.
Right.
Yeah,
But what did he do
is
before
healthy,
that?
He's a
He's
difference
still,
maker.
when he is healthy, he is still a viable receiver in the NFL. Somebody is going to pick him up and
I
pay him
think-
a 2 to 3 year contract.
Do you know what
I
he's
think,
going to do?
I
He's going to
agree
do
with you.
exactly what Julio Jones did: jump around and try to find something.
No,
I truly,
You know,
I
I
think
disagree with that. He's good. You know, if he ends up in a Miami, you're right. But if he ends up in a Kansas City,
Kansas City would be his best bet.
D-Hop left
Absolutely would be his best bet.
Baltimore,
Baltimore.
does Kelsey retire?
No, he's got one. He's gonna do one more year.
He's doing one more year. He
One more
Just
year,
say
and I bet he's
one
done.
more year.
Now,
I could also see Cup going to the Raiders. They're stacking up. They're trying to stack up veteran guys.
They are,
Let's just
Who's
see
their
how we do with
quarterback?
all the
and they
veterans.
got a veteran
Geno
coach.
Smith.
Geno Smith.
Seattle.
And they got a veteran coach.
I know. Now,
Geno Smith, come on now.
here's
Pete
the thing.
Carroll.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
Pete Carroll's the man. I don't give a
Why
That's
shit.
why
did
Geno's
Geno
there.
went there. He
Yep.
went there because of Pete Carroll.
Exactly. That's why. Because he's the only one that gave him a shot.
Here's why I'm saying the Raiders are going to start being relevant. Maybe not next year, but within the next couple years. They have got ownership there
That knows
how
what
to
it
win.
takes.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. He knows what it takes to win. He knows.
Why do you
he
think they're
has to
stacking
bring
up all
in.
these somewhat veteran guys and comparable to just relying on the draft?
Well, but they're going to draft well.
They
They're
will.
going to put these guys behind these
Yeah.
starters and let them learn, kind of like Mahomes did with Alex Smith.
Yeah.
And look what that did for him.
Seriously, the AFC West has the chance to be the best conference of football.
They will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They will.
Oh,
be.
shut up.
They have the
will
best
be.
coaching
The Raiders
staffs in
suck,
football.
and Jim Harbaugh is a fucking.
They have the best
Fake.
coaching staff in
Yeah. In the NFL.
all of the NFL.
No,
Andy Reid,
because
Sean
you're
Payton,
over-
Pete Carroll, Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh is not a good coach.
Okay, what other division competes with that?
He's a cheater.
What other division competes with that?
He's a cheater.
No,
That doesn't matter. I'm asking a question, Jeff. What other division competes with that head coaching right there?
Nothing.
With those four head
With
There's
those four head coaches, who
nothing.
else competes with that?
I need to be McVay. I'm going to knock him off. I got to get him out of the game.
I'm just asking a
can't
question.
take
Who else competes with that?
Nobody. That's why you
Who
can't
else?
say anything because there's nobody.
Yeah.
AFC East.
Name
No.
the coaches.
No.
Yeah.
Name them.
No.
Nick Sirianni.
Nick Sirianni.
I thought you hated Nick Sirianni.
Dabo. I don't like him, but on the other hand, he's a
McCarthy?
good coach.
Or not
Nah, not
McCarthy. He's not
McCarthy.
a-
Who is it? It's
Yeah.
Schottenheimer.
Yeah,
Schottenheimer,
the
who's-
defensive coordinator from okay,
Who's the Washington coach?
Dan
Because
Quinn.
he's done-
Dan Quinn.
Dan
Dan
Quinn.
I like
Dan
Quinn.
Quinn's good. I
mean,
like him.
So you got
You got
three,
Dan Quinn
You got three
and
out
you
of four.
got Nick Sirianni. That's what
Who's
you
the
got.
You got Dabo.
No. Come on, man. You guys won 3 games last year?
Jeff,
Five.
I know you hate him, and I know he's a cheater. I know he's done all that stuff.
He wins everywhere he goes. It doesn't matter.
Shut your mouth.
Would you take Harbaugh over Dabo?
No.
No?
No.
He could bring the Giants back to prominence.
No, you couldn't.
Yeah, he could.
There's an integrity thing,
They would have been a. They would
Did
have.
Belichick cheat?
Yeah.
baby.
Oh
Is he
yeah.
one of the greatest coaches ever in the NFL?
Absolutely.
Who
And
else?
he won how many Super Bowls?
The best.
Seven,
The best.
Six.
Six?
The best quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl.
No, I'm just talking coaches right now.
No, I'm just. I'm talking
Yeah.
to that too.
Yeah.
The best quarterback to ever play a game got caught cheating too.
Yeah.
Granted, it didn't matter, but
So that's what I'm saying.
still a thing.
If Harbaugh could bring 6 Super
Sometimes I
Bowl
don't even know if I
titles,
like you guys.
Man, if he would
if
just
Harbaugh
bring.
could bring 6 titles to the Giants in the next 12 years,
No,
would
it
you
ain't
take
worth it. You don't sell your soul to the devil.
Okay.
You're
Would
also.
you
No.
Would you
Jeff.
have taken Belichick?
I'm
Jeff.
gonna take a Belichick.
Okay,
Jeff.
but he cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he admitted to it, really.
Jeff.
No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
You are the guy that flat out told me you would take Urban Meyer in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat. I would have. Absolutely.
Talk about selling your soul.
Meyer didn't cheat. He just had strippers on his lap.
Yeah.
College girls
Like
on
Bill
his
Clinton.
lap.
Yeah, whatever.
This is where
That's
that.
fine.
You can't blame the guy for one young pussy.
This is where
Like
it
Belichick?
becomes relevant.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Did you see his wife?
I can see
Oh
where
my
Jeff's
God.
path is going now.
She'll be his
Jeff,
granddaughter.
this is where the conversation becomes relevant because I asked you flat out. I was like, "You're willing to sell your soul to the devil for Urban Meyer
Absolutely.
for a couple years?" Spencer's like,
But he didn't cheat the game.
"Oh, come on."
Belichick.
He
now."
didn't cheat the game.
Everybody does it.
No.
If you are not doing it,
No.
you're not trying.
No. Bullshit.
Best coach of all time
BS.
did it. The best player of all time did it. Obviously, they all do it.
No. I
And
disagree.
even in that biography about this whole thing, everybody said they did it. Even your head coach came out and said that everybody does it.
Stop it.
So there we go.
Who was the defensive coordinator for the Giants
Love
when
it.
they won their Super Bowls in the 90s? It was Parcells was the head coach. Who was
Ryan.
No,
He was the defensive coordinator.
or offensive coordinator then.
Oh. I don't have a clue.
Wasn't it Bill Belichick?
Oh yeah.
It was. You're right.
Wonder
then he
how,
went
the,
to-
wonder how the Giants won those Super Bowls.
Oh, now it's all starting to add up.
No. The Super Bowls that the Giants won were against Brady and Belichick.
No. I'm talking
Before that all
when they
happened.
had
Before.
Phil Simms and Hostetler and Belichick was there.
Oh shit! We were the better team at that point. We were the Kansas City Chiefs. We were the Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
We were the best team of that year.
You don't
New
think that-
York has never been the Kansas City
Absolutely.
Chiefs or New York
But we had Phil
or
Smith
whoever.
and Lawrence Taylor and no, we were the best team in the NFL
So
at that
you,
time.
you don't think Belichick put a weight on the right side of the football when Norwood kicked it to make it go?
No, God, I fucking hate you guys. No. If my dog bit people, I'd have him bite you right now.
Okay. Anyway,
Just so you know, this is the dog I'm talking about. Doesn't bite nobody.
all right. So let's go with this. We're gonna start, and let's start with the AFC East. We'll do that this week. All right.
Okay.
You've got 4 teams: the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets. What? I'll start with Brian down the end, and I'll give you the Bills. What do they need to be relevant and make a run at the Super Bowl next year? They're close right now. They've signed Bosa, signed Allen to his contract. What else do they need right now? One position to get to over that hump.
They need another receiver, in my opinion.
Really?
I
Because they
think-
had Diggs and they couldn't get over the hump.
But
Diggs is
is a
cancer.
diva. Diggs
He's
is a
cancer.
diva. He'll show it in Houston too. But
All wide
He's already
receivers
started to.
now.
but what I'm saying though is that
Hello.
I think Joey Bosa was the biggest thing they could do at this point. But I think they need another receiver. They have to have another playmaker on the offensive side, in my
they
opinion.
need a big time tight end.
They got Kincaid. Kincaid's not a bad tight
Yeah,
end.
he's not a bad tight end. He's a great tight
And
end.
they've got Dawson Knox.
He
they got
ain't
Dawson
Kelsey.
Knox.
He ain't Kelsey. He ain't Hernandez. He's not a. No. They need
But
a
is-
big time tight end.
Is he a Mark Andrews?
No.
Mark Andrews is probably the third best tight end in the football.
Absolutely.
Look how he played this year.
But I
TK's nowhere near him. Nowhere near him.
Brian Lower.
I disagree with that. He was a great tight end.
Bullshit. You put Kincaid on Baltimore, and he don't put up half the stats.
Well, yeah, because Baltimore don't use the tight end. They use
Well,
Likely.
look at Mark Andrews' stats this year in general. They
I'm
did
just
nothing.
saying.
They were nothing.
Kincaid goes there, and he don't put up half the stats that Andrews does.
I disagree with you.
Bullshit.
It's okay.
Braden,
Okay.
we're gonna go South Beach, Miami.
Ooh.
What do the Dolphins need? What's gonna help them? They lost Mozart.
Yep.
They lost Tyreek, basically, right?
He said he's gone. He wants to be out.
Yeah. So even if he does come back, is he gonna be the player he was, or is he gonna just be a shell of himself?
Yeah.
So what
It's,
do they need?
Honestly, at this point, it's hard to say. Because first, Tyreek. That's a big loss if you lose Tyreek.
Mm-hmm.
Still got Jalen Waddle. You still have A-Chain, or however you pronounce
A-Chain.
it. He's a pretty good running back.
Tua.
Do you trust in Tua, though, if you're healthy? The biggest thing is Tua staying healthy. Because when he is healthy, Tua, he plays pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. They have a decent defense, but they're old on defense. I would say build your defense and just kind of hope on the offense side that everyone stays in is 100%. If Tyreek stays, is he all in? If Tua's playing, is he healthy? If A-Chain plays, is he healthy? Because he's going to be 100%, almost 95% of snaps. I'd say defense is the biggest thing for the Miami Dolphins at this point.
As much as I want to say I agree with you. I think they're a sinking ship.
I don't. I'm just trying to say. I agree.
I know what you're saying.
I'm trying to come up with something because they are a sinking ship, in my opinion.
Jeff, I'm going to go to the state of New Jersey and give you the Jets.
Oh, shit.
What do they need right now?
Everything.
An overhaul?
Do they?
Well, no. You know, they got a really good defense.
They've got a great defense.
They got a great defense. Their offensive line is good.
Got Garrett Wilson.
We got Garrett Wilson.
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall. They
Now you
got
have
a lot of
Justin-
key positions.
But now you have Justin Fields too.
You
Justin
know,
Fields and Wilson match
Justin
up from Ohio
Fields
State
has
together
a
now.
chance to go there and break the curse.
Justin
I
Fields
could
is going to
agree.
be in the same situation he was in Chicago.
He's not.
Yes, he
This
is.
is a much better team than Chicago has.
No,
There you
it's
go.
not.
Much better team than
I
Chicago
disagree
has.
with you. He would be in a better
I
situation.
will
in
say
Chicago.
this, Brian.
No.
I think the Jets have a better defense than the Bears had.
Absolutely.
And I think that with Wilson and Hall, he's got more weapons than he ever had at Chicago.
Totally agree.
I
Here,
disagree
here.
with
I
you because they
agree.
brought in exactly what he needed in
Who
Chicago.
did they bring?
No, they
They
didn't.
brought in DJ Moore, who was one of the better running
Oh,
or good
Okay,
receivers
okay.
at that point.
Christ.
Would you take DJ Moore over Garrett Wilson?
No.
No, I'm not
Not
saying
a
that.
thousand
but I'm
years.
just saying.
But what I'm saying is he also had one of the better running backs at that time too. He ended up going to
Hey, Baron Bryce.
Detroit. He ended up going to Detroit.
I know what you're
Montgomery.
talking about.
Montgomery was his running back.
Oh, Montgomery is a multi-purpose
Where-
guy.
He
Where
was still
Chicago
he was
went
still
wrong.
breaking. He was still breaking the barrier at that point.
But
All
where-
I say
where
is
Chicago-
Montgomery wasn't even a real running back 3 years ago.
You're saying what? Chicago was what?
I just think they're in the same situation. They're both terrible franchises that don't know how to run anything. And I think Chicago actually had less offensive line, but that's not saying much. The Jets don't have an offensive line either.
Yeah,
But
they're
it's better
winning
than
in
Chicago.
Better than Chicago.
I'm just saying. I think Fields is going into a better
Scenario.
scenario with better talent than what he had in Chicago.
I
He
bet
should've
you
stayed in
Jets
Pittsburgh.
make the playoffs and Chicago don't.
Front office and all that stuff. I'll say you're equal across.
He should have
both
stayed
of
in
them.
Pittsburgh is what he should have done.
He could have stayed there.
Just saying, that's what I would have done.
Who
I
knows
don't
what
think
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh gave him a choice.
I was gonna say, what did Pittsburgh?
I
give him
think
a choice to?
Pittsburgh's going after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I really do. I think you're going to see him there. Final team out of the AFC East, the New England Patriots. I saved the best for me. Anyway,
The
the
best?
Patriots.
They signed the most money.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think Drake May is going to be their quarterback. I really do. I was impressed when I watched him last year. He doesn't have anything
Yeah, I think
around
Drake's
him.
going to do his job.
I think Drake will be a good NFL quarterback. Is he going to be
He should have been a
superstar?
giant.
Is he going to be a superstar? No. I think that they're going in the right direction. I think they're going to build out the draft. I don't think you're going to see the Patriots relevant in the next 3 to 4 years. They might make the playoffs in one of them, but they're
Two out
not
of
going to.
three.
They're not going to be a
Make
team
the
that.
first two.
It's not going to be the Patriots of old that when they go into a place, you expect them to win.
I will say this: they will be second place in that division
Next year?
next year.
Who do you get? Rank them. Rank them for me.
Well, the Bills are
Rank
number one.
The Bills will be number one, and then the Patriots, and then probably the Jets, and then probably Miami.
I almost agree with you, but I'd flip Patriots.
But
Jets.
I think Mike Vrabel is the biggest
Vrabel's
thing
a
they
great
could have
coach.
done, and I think Vrabel is going to turn them around.
I don't think he's going to get them turned around that much. I know they've got.
I do.
Let's
your
spend.
mouth.
No, seriously, he did it with Tennessee.
But
who doesn't want to put
He
anything
did
around?
what with Tennessee?
They're one of the best teams in football.
When? 2001?
No, when Kansas City started making their run, Tennessee was the team that was holding them up.
When they had D. Henry, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
They weren't one of the best teams.
King Henry.
They were.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They had a lot of great players on the team.
They were
that
the
didn't
number
win.
one seed in the AFC.
Yeah, and how'd that work out for them?
They lost to your Bengals, who had no reason to be there in the first place.
Why do they have no reason? They have
made
Joe
a run.
Burrow.
They made a run.
They have Joe Burrow.
Chase.
As long as they have Joe Burrow and Chase.
As long as they have Chase, Joe Burrow will be fine.
But have you noticed the Patriots haven't made any big signings in free agency?
No.
They've signed a few players, but they haven't made that big splash.
But I don't think they will.
No, and that's what I'm
Because
saying.
Well, they
Mike
also have the
Vrabel
number-
is going to be Bill Belichick.
Well,
He's
that
going to be
and
a
they
Bill
have the
Belichick.
number.
wants to
They
go
have the
through
number
the
2
draft.
pick. They have the number pick too. The number 2 pick.
You bring in Travis Hunter.
Yep.
And they're talking about Travis Hunter playing
Both sides.
limited snaps, but both sides of the ball.
Right. And I think he can do it.
He can. He can do it. He's probably the best conditioned football player I've ever seen. It's ridiculous.
Well, don't forget our main sponsors here on Tailgate Talk Nebraska, the Strop Barbershop, as Devin offers a traditional men's barbershop. I can't remember.
Experience.
With cuts, beard trims, and straight razor shaves. Go visit him now. Today, he is one of our great sponsors here, along with Scott's Lawn Care, serving all of southeast Nebraska. Scott's Lawn Care, call them for free estimates and quotes, and they also do snow removal.
And we did add one.
Oh,
So now we have My Mood Designs for apparel and everything. So they are the ones that brought us.
Stand up, show them your shirt.
And we got shirts available. If you guys are wanting any shirts, let us know.
Let's go.
And for the challenge, also, Brian made these with the coasters and the tumblers with our name at the bottom. So after you get done with your drink, you know you got to cover that back up and fill it up because of the BS that comes out of this room.
but go onto the Facebook. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Go onto YouTube, hit it. TikTok. What else?
Bracket challenge.
Spotify.
The bracket challenge on
No.
Facebook.
Bracket challenge.
Spotify.
Spotify.
We're on Spotify. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and then also YouTube.
Are we on MySpace?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Unfortunately,
I
it's
am.
not.
I still have
I know.
MySpace 18. Yeah.
That's
I remember
how it's
MySpace. I
Next-
actually remember MySpace.
Next Thursday night, we will come up with some sort of challenge as the young bloods try to take on the veterans and the bracket challenge. We want to invite every single one of you. Heck, invite your friends, invite your enemies, invite whoever you want to join the bracket challenge. We want to see as many people in this thing as we can. Are any of you going to beat us? Probably. Maybe.
No.
You don't
No.
know.
I just want you to know, Jeff knows sports. I will win this challenge.
You called him Phil Smith. It's Phil Sims. And you're saying you know sports.
Your best,
Come on, man.
your best quarterback.
Second best quarterback ever.
Yeah, second.
Eli.
Eli's the man.
Yeah, well, that's not saying much.
It is.
No,
Well,
He's better than Peyton.
We are glad you have chosen to spend some of your Thursday evening with us. Go enjoy the rest of the conference championships. If you've got a team still in it, if you don't have a team in it, hey, just watch them for fun. There's a lot of good college basketball going on right now. Selection Sunday is coming up in 3 days.
Big
We
day,
will
big
see
day.
All 68 teams. That will give you your chance to go on and fill out your bracket on our Facebook page. So go on and see that. Brian, Braden, Jeff, and myself, we want to wish you all a great Thursday evening, a great weekend. We will see you all back here 1 week from now. You have been watching Tailgate Talk Nebraska, and
We know sports.